Welcome to another edition of Around with Randall, your weekly podcast on making your nonprofit more effective for your community. And here is your host, the CEO and founder of Hallett Philanthropy, Randall Hallett.
It's great to have you back joining me, Randall, on this edition of Around with Randall. Today we venture into part 4 of 5 when we talk about the great questions of relationship development. And we focus today on the combined aspects of soliciting and closing. And when we get to the end, you'll see kind of why I distinguish between the two, because one without the other could be a problem. In the series, we're looking at the big questions within the moves management process. How do you develop relationships? And these questions are meant to help, whether it's an annual giving or a major gift, planned gift, principal gift, any type of communication, individual relationships, could even be corporation and foundations. The questions you need to be prepared to answer as you move through this process. So where do we start? Well, we have to start with one of the common facts of what we do. This is along with qualification calling, one of the more challenging or most challenging aspects of what we do in our profession. People don't like to ask people for money. And I think I need to be honest that I really, truly believe when done well, we really don't ask for people for money. In many ways, what we're doing is offering invitations for people to join us. And in doing so, it may feel like a solicitation, but it really is that offer, if we've done this correctly, and we'll talk about these steps today or questions, that get us to the point where we move over the top of the hill towards that solicitation to a yes, maybe a no, down the hill for the knowledge of what actually is our next step. Where are we supposed to go next? And so 5 of the 6 questions that we have today are 4 of the 5 questions based today are on the solicitation side. The last one is the closing, which we'll get to at the end. So let's start at the top. As we enter into this phase of the relationship process, the first question I think it's important to think about and know, are you asking into logic or emotion? What is the ask, the invitation really based upon? And the word that I used and tried to emphasize is into. I'm not asking about what you, or if you are the donor, the person maybe facilitating, the gift officer, the process. I'm asking about what is it you're trying to lean into when you ask somebody for support, making that offer. There's a really important understanding of the human brain that comes into this part of the conversation. A famous neurologist once said, when you ask somebody for some type of conclusion, you get thought. When you ask somebody to engage, that gets you into emotion. We tend to make it easy on ourselves, make solicitations, engage in the solicitation, offer someone's ability to engage with us into logic, into conclusion, because it's simpler. But what we tend to get, it's simpler to ask. What we tend to get is not the answers we're looking for. All of the gifts that I have had the unbelievable privilege of shepherding, and I've been involved with billions of dollars of gifts in and out of organizations that I've represented, and now into consulting, it's probably bigger than that. None of that is a credit to me. As gift officers, as relationship builders, as facilitators of a process, we're not the ones doing the giving. We are just opening doors, windows, whatever else we can to give people the opportunity to support us. All of those gifts, though, that I have been involved with, planned giving, major gifts, principal gifts, when it becomes, as we've talked about before in the last episode with cultivation, transformational, not a dollar figure, but where it's emotional engagement. The gifts at the largest end are all about emotion. Yes, there's a logical component to how it's done and things of that nature, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But the decision is based on emotion. They feel something. Maybe it's, we take healthcare, gratitude toward a particular caregiver or team of caregivers who shepherded them or a family member through a challenging situation. If it's education, they look back and realize the value that's provided them, or they had such tremendous experiences in that 4, 3, 5, 7 year process. Maybe it's emotion that is about, I can't believe how fortunate I am in life and I feel like I need to do something for somebody else. It's possibly tied to a name. Think about the scholarship fund that I started with my sisters in the name of my parents. It's important to me because of who they are and the way in which they've made my life possible. There's emotion in those decisions. Those are, when you talk about education, healthcare, social service, got to help somebody else who maybe is homeless. Or recently here in Omaha, we had 7 tornadoes touch down, a couple of them almost a mile wide. You have people in this community whose homes and lives have been just totally taken apart. I'm emotionally tied to wanting to help them and see my community be better. People's engagement at the highest levels are about emotion. And so we go back to the question. If you're pitching this conversation around logic, you may get an answer, you may get conclusion, but you're not going to get the gift that could be transformation. It's emotion that drives people to action at the highest level. Think about the difference in how you would deal with a situation if there were a health episode, if it were your child at age 7 versus a stranger in the grocery store. Not that you wouldn't do certain things, but the emotion of the moment is more tied to your daughter or son who's 7 because you do anything for them. That emotional decision of how you would engage is no different when you make a decision on how you would philanthropically support somebody or an organization. It's because that emotion elevates it, brings it upward towards importance. If you would spend more time thinking about, and I would say for me as well, when I deal with clients and when they ask me to help them with their particular donors, think more about that emotional content, we'd see larger gifts. People would maximize what's possible. So question number 1 in the solicitation process, 1 of 5, is are you asking into logic or emotion? Number 2, have you soft asked into the solicitation? And this is something that we do not use as a soft ask as a technique enough. A soft ask is nothing more than letting the person you're dealing with know what you would like to do next, and you're finding out if it's okay. You're getting a blessing. The best example of soft asking in philanthropy actually came during the pandemic. Because of the changing nature of the world, health concerns, unsure factors of a whole lot of things in our crazy day-to-day lives when that happened. The best relationship builders, fundraisers, were asking soft asked questions, probing questions, not about money, but about the relationship. Could we meet in a park and have a cup of coffee? Would that be okay? Could I come by the house and sit outside and talk with you? Are you okay, as we moved along in the pandemic, to go to an open air restaurant and sit and have a cup of coffee or lunch and just would like to catch up? What is it that you need that you're not getting that maybe I could be helpful with to make sure you feel like you're not alone? All of these kind of thoughts were about how do I keep the relationship moving? And because of the forced health nature, we were using soft ask questions to probe what was appropriate. Why aren't we doing the same when it comes to philanthropy and the fundraising, the solicitation? I'd like to, if you've cultivated well, go back and listen to the last one on the questions regarding cultivation. Would it be okay if I brought you a proposal that had the following elements? Based on all of our conversations, would that be okay? It's almost like there are sub-elements. Can I bring you a proposal so that they're not surprised? It's at this dollar amount based on what you told me. Here's some of the parameters. What you begin to do is you're allowing them to control the actions of the relationship, giving them comfort. Control, when people believe they have it, and they do, it adds to a very positive outcome, not just in philanthropy or solicitations, but just in life. When people feel like they lose control, they generally aren't that content, happy, relaxed. They're on edge. I think about when I go through security with TSA, I've never had any bad issues. People are generally pretty nice. They're trying to do their job. But you literally lose all control of any elements of anything. You literally have to do almost anything they say, and you lose that ability for self-control. The same is true when someone's being asked for money. The soft ask allows us to bring down the concern, the level of discontent, the giving them control, saying, here's what I'd like to do. Is that okay with you? Absolutely. Or, well, that's close, but what about this? It brings you to a point where you allow them to drive you where they want to go. Second question, are you soft asking, or have you soft asked your way into a solicitation? Number 3, do you have a complete proposal? So let me start with a little bit of a variant here. The word proposal. If over a certain dollar figure, 10,000, 25,000, some organizations is 5,000, auditors get involved, and I actually agree with them on this, that there should be some kind of written form of a gift agreement. I would posit that the easiest way to get to the gift agreement, which we're going to talk about in a moment, is to use a proposal. Now, if you're an annual fund leadership annual giving person, you're not doing proposals at $1,000, but the contents of the proposal are just as important. So let's talk about those. It's not so much the instrument as to what's in them. Do you know, when you pose the question, would you like to be a part of what we're trying to accomplish? Could we count on you for this kind of support? I've brought you some paperwork that aligns with what we've talked about and aligns with what I soft asked, or what we talked about here this last time, are about how are they going to make the gift? How much is that gift for? Are they going to receive some type of recognition? And if you're a leadership annual giving or a corporate and foundation special events, that's really important. So how much, what recognition? Is this to be paid in a certain way, pledged now, later? And for the larger type gifts, does this include an estate planned giving opportunity? So whether it's a pledge card or a gift agreement, those elements, those 5, how much, recognition, whether it's pledge, payment, terms, things of that nature, and whether or not there's estate involvement, are all relative no matter how much money you're asking for or how much money they want to give. We need that information, because part of a great solicitation is that if they say yay, yes, then all the answers to the questions that are in the gift agreement, who it is, what it is they're giving, how much, what are the terms, what's the recognition, everything that you need has already been answered. You do not have to reopen the negotiation of, well, I didn't know what you wanted to do about this. That's already taken care of. We're moving forward a step. That's why a complete proposal, or maybe it's an email confirming a gift, because you're a leadership annual giving, or somebody's doing a $5,000 sponsorship of a gala. You have all of those 5 pieces of information. That's all part of a proposal. How much, a recognition, is it pledged, payment terms, how are they making the gift come to fruition? And lastly, is there an estate issue? Question number 3, have you a complete proposal? Number 4, are you ready to handle objections? This is the time, yay or nay, where objections seem to come up, because you're pushing the envelope a little bit. You're pushing into someone, trying to have them make a decision. Standard objections sound or feel something like, that's a little bit more than I really intended. What would you do? Are you prepared to talk about, well, there's different ways people make gifts. We have a lot of people who pledge this kind of gift over a period of time. Would that be more advantageous? Or, which we should be talking about with almost any gift that's major or higher, we have a lot of people who want to really see what they believe in come to fruition. Maybe something now pledged and blended estate might be a possibility. Is that something we could talk about? or they have an issue with, secondly, somebody else needs to be in the decision-making process. Normally it's a spouse, maybe a child if you have a single parent or there's two parents and a child, they're older, they use one of their kids as kind of a guide to help them through different conversations. But it doesn't have to be. It could be a lawyer. Recently, I had a client and worked with them on a multi-million dollar gift opportunity where the donor, who happened to be female, not that it makes any difference, she had a business, and the gift privately owned business was going to come through the business, large company. And we began to figure out that we're missing something. And when we finally got into the objections, we were able to figure out that she needed some support. She wanted someone else's opinion. You might think, well, it's the spouse, it's significant other or child. It was actually the CFO of the company. She was looking at it emotionally. She wanted to do this, but could the gift come through the company and not affect the company's production, performance, what it's normally supposed to do? And once we figured that out and brought that person with the donor's permission into the conversation and got the blessing, the gift was done. So the second major one is somebody else's blessing or involvement to make sure it's okay. A third objection is it the right time? People make decisions on their giving at different times. I used to be someone who made a gift to the charities I believed in every month. I'm a budget person. When I started Hallett Philanthropy, that completely shifted for tax reasons to be done at the end of the year. If you ask me now, here in April, I might give you a gift or maybe not. But if you come to me in October, when I'm beginning to think about it, it's more likely those decisions are more advantageous if I believe in it, and the gift may be larger. When that happens is important, and pushing back a little bit and saying, well, when would be a better time? When can I do this best for you? So, are you ready to handle objections? Those are just three. There's a lot of them, but thinking about them and kind of role playing with yourself. If they said this, how would I answer? How would I get them answers? How would I get them the things that they need to make it a positive experience? The fifth and final question is, can you use some sales techniques if you're stuck? Meaning, this is where closing is different in some ways than soliciting. I like to tell gift officers all the time that there is a worse answer than no when we ask for a gift. The answer that's just extremely frustrating and worse is I don't know, meaning, are they going to make the gift? I think so, but I really don't know. I don't have a signed gift agreement because if we don't have a signed gift agreement, we got nothing. Sometimes we need to help people think about this. And there are some great sales techniques that we can use to get to that close. We need that signed agreement. I'm going to give you 4 real quickly. You can Google these and get some great insight. But one is the trial close. When would it be best to start your pledge payments? I brought some recognition. Can we show it to you with your name on it? You're kind of assuming they're going to go and trying to look for that resistance. A summary of benefits. I just think it'd be great if we were able to think about for a moment that with your gift of 500,000, there'll be 500 women that will be directly affected by your gift. Let's go ahead and get this started. What do you think? You're bringing the impact, the outcome to the forefront instead of the money that they're giving. It's a summary of what you're trying to accomplish and what they're going to do through the nonprofit that you represent. The third is special concession or an impending event. So maybe it's as simple as, we're having our next meeting or induction of our Heritage Society. We'd love you to be in it. The one that I find even more powerful is having them understand that there are other people watching them and waiting to make their gift based on what they do. They are an influencer. They're a power broker. You know, I just wanted you to be aware how important you are to this process. We have 4 other people that have said they are willing to make a gift, and a significant one, but they want to know it's okay. And they're looking to you as that endorsement. Your gift has exponential impact. It's almost like a match. Is this something we can move forward? Because those other people really want to be supportive as well. The last one is the direct appeal. At some point, if you don't know yes or no, you just have to ask. Can we count on your support? Do you think these elements fit within your criteria so we could get this signed? Would you be willing to sign the gift agreement? I don't know is one of the more frustrating things when I would talk to gift officers, say, where are you at in the process? I don't know. Or are they going to make a gift? I don't know. I don't know how to help. I don't know how to teach if I don't know where they are, where you are, where the relationship is. And so sometimes these sales techniques, the trial close, the summary of benefit, the special concession, and the direct appeal can help you force into a yes, no. We all would prefer the yes. But a no tells me that either we're probably going to move on and I'll circle back maybe sometime in the future, or I got something wrong way back, which means we probably didn't ask the questions back in cultivation and qualification that we needed to find out these are really strong likelihood opportunities for people to think about. Again, the five questions in solicitation and closing. Are you asking into logic or emotion? Aim for that emotion. Have you soft asked your way into a solicitation? No surprises. They know what's coming. Do you have a complete proposal? Meaning you know how much, how, recognition pledged, whether it's a state, whether it's 2,500 or 25 million. You need all of those things covered so you don't enter into a renegotiation for unknown factors. Are you ready to handle objections? Either generally, this is a lot, maybe more than I thought, to more specific, i.e. maybe there's something in the organization that's a challenge. How would you answer those questions? And number 5, moving into closing. Can you use sales techniques when things seem to be stagnant? You answer these 5 questions, you'll close more gifts because they are the things that hold up the solicitation and closing process, that hinder the ability for us to serve our mission and to allow donors and others to support what they believe in and what we're trying to accomplish. Next time, we'll handle the 5th, stewardship. What are the key components there and questions that we can lean into to get through that process at a much higher and more effective, efficient level? Don't forget that the blogs are at hallettphilanthropy.com, 2 or 3 a week, 90-second reads, kind of things I see, I hear, I read, interesting things I experience, give you something to think about. And if you would like to reach out to me, it's podcast@hallettphilanthropy.com. We are moving through a kind of an interesting 2024. I think when we get to summer, we'll see some information regarding giving that will concern us. Know how important you are. These relationships, these questions, use them to your advantage to get into deeper, more emotionally based conversations about how people who want to make a difference can make a difference. And you're an instrument of that. Don't forget, some people make things happen. Some people watch things happen. Then there are those who wondered what happened. My all-time favorite saying, an old Gaelic one. We need more people. We need to be people. We need to find more people who want to make things happen for the people and the things in our lives, in our communities that are wondering what happened. You're doing great things. Don't doubt that, and continue pressing yourself to be better and working with those who want to do the same throughout your community. I'll see you next time, episode 5 of 5 on the great questions in the moves management relationship building process. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget, make it a great day.